Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live. And today I'm going to show you how I made a card. Sorry, I'm moving things around here a little bit, so hopefully I get it a little more centered. With the Stippled Roses stamp set bundle from Stampin' Up. And I did a little Mother's Day card with it. So it was pretty, it's actually really easy. It's a few layers, but really it's quick and easy for coloring purposes and layering purposes. It's real quick to put together. So I will show you how I did it here in just a second. So, hey Sally, thanks for hopping on. So this is the card. It's got a little touch of Designer Series paper on it, a couple layers of roses and die cuts and a little sentiment, and that's kind of about it. So I see Pam and Carol are here as well. So, all right, and Lemon Lolly, which is my favorite yellow ever, I think. I don't know, I've been using it a ton. Between that and Bubble Bath, those are my two favorite colors, and I go to them for like everything. So, hey, Polly and Heather and Rosie and Judy, everybody, thanks for hopping in. Glad you're all here. So this is the Stippled Roses stamp set, and it is, again, it's beautiful. And I love that it stamps, and to me, it gives a lot of depth and kind of texture to the stamp. Sorry, I know there's a glare on it, so I'm trying to tilt it a little bit, so hopefully you can see it. Excuse me. Hey, Marilyn and Lina, I think is how you say your name. And Linda, thanks everybody for hopping in. So it's got some good sentiments in it. I love the font on the Mother's Day one, so that's really pretty. And then it's got dies. And everybody, you know, dies are always a good thing. So hey, Patricia, thanks for hopping in from rainy Ontario, Canada. It's actually kind of a beautiful spring feeling day here. And I know that the end of February is too early to say the word spring in New Jersey, but I'm hopeful. The snow is almost all melted in the yard, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a few more sunny days and warm. I think we're supposed to get up to 60 or something today. I don't know if it's quite that warm out there, but it's definitely warm. So, hey, Mary, thanks for joining, and Robin as well. All right, so these are the dies that coordinate. So the Stippled Roses, the three images, I have dies that coordinate, and then there are a couple of accessory pieces. So there are some really pretty kind of branch or greenery dies. I use this one on my card today, which is leaves, and yeah, some little flower accessories too. Oh, 12 degrees and 40-mile-an-hour winds. Ooh, that doesn't sound very fun, Rosie. You can keep that over there. So, yeah, it's like I said, I was outside, and actually I had on shorts and a t-shirt because I was doing my little elliptical workout not too long ago, and I ran outside to go pick up some boxes the UPS guy left me, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, you know, it's not terrible out here. So you were probably right, Karen. It probably is 62. So cold and rainy in the UK. That's a bummer. Hopefully like I said, hopefully it'll be spring for everybody soon. So, all right. One other die set that I did use on my card is the Stylish Shapes dies, and I used the third from the largest of the circle dies. This is a great die set from the annual catalog, and it's one that, I mean, I use it probably at least half the cards I make. I cut something out with it. So so definitely it's a great die set. If you don't have this one yet, it's a good time to pick it up because it's celebration going on right now. And for every $50 that you order in merchandise, you can get a free item from the celebration brochure, plus the additional items that Stampin' Up! Put out. There's like, I don't know, 15 things or something you can pick from for free with an order of $50 or greater from Stampin' Up! So, and that actually runs through Thursday, February 29th, so it's almost over. Don't forget, get your orders in, or better yet, join, and you can get this awesome glass mat that I'm stamping on here today. You can get that for free with your starter kit. So starter kit is $99 and it ships for free. You pay tax on it if that applies in your area. You get to pick $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise of your choice. So that's anything in either of the current catalogs. And then you can choose to get this glass mat for free with your order or with your starter kit purchase. Or if the glass mat isn't of interest to you, you can always do the other option, which is to get 30 additional free dollars. So a total of $155 in free stuff, or, well, I mean, $155 in merchandise. I guess I shouldn't say free stuff. $155 in merchandise in your starter kit for $99. And again, it ships for free. So let me know if you have questions about joining. If you are on the fence, drop me a message, whatever, amy@stampwithamyk.com. And I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. A couple other things, just reminders, online exclusives. So don't forget about those when you're putting your final orders here for celebration, or if you're considering joining, there are some pre-order items in online exclusives that are available now for you to take advantage of. So let me know if you have questions about that. And again, the online exclusives are only in the online store. They are not available in any catalog. Well, I shouldn't say that they're anyone can purchase them, but you will only find them in the online store to look at them. So they're not in a catalog. They kind of come and go as Stampin' Up! Sees fit. So, all right. Let me know if you have questions about anything. Let's get busy doing some stamping. So I've got a Lemon Lolly card base. This card you could actually do, certainly if you like the book fold standard card base, you can certainly use that for this one. My card base is cut to 4¼ by 11 and scored at 5½ across the middle. If you prefer the book fold, which is the one that opens like this, that one would be cut to 5½ by 8½ and scored at 4¼ down the side. So this card will work with either card base. I just happen to have a top fold one cut, and that's my preferred card base. I know not everybody loves them. So I have got a piece of the softly stippled designer series paper, so this is the reverse of it. This is one of the items that you can get for free during celebration. So again, just got a couple more days of celebration left. I can't even believe we're almost to the end of February, and that celebration is almost done. And this is cut to about 3½ inches wide by about 5 inches tall, and we are just going to adhere it to the card front, kind of over to the left-hand side, centered top to bottom, and I don't know, kind of, I just slid it over to the left a little. So, and there's no like special way you put it on. If you prefer to have it centered on there, you could certainly do it centered, but I thought it looked kind of nice, a little off to the side. All right, set that aside and we'll start doing a little stamping. Let me get some basic white cardstock out here. And I've got that big rose image from the Stippled Roses stamp set in Pebbled Path ink. And I'm just going to ink that up with the Pebbled Path ink. For the larger images, sometimes it's a little easier to actually go have the image face up and then add your ink to it that way, just so that you can see a little bit where you're inking. But this one's not an overly large image, so it's not too bad to get it inked up. And then we are going to stamp that. You know what? I probably better stamp it like this on some basic white cardstock. And I may have to get another piece of basic white cardstock out because I don't know if this one's going to fit on there. I was not thinking very clearly when, oh yeah, it'll work. Then I've got the little branch image, again, from the Stippled Roses stamp set. And we're going to do the same thing here, just going to ink it up with the Pebbled Path cardstock. Make sure I've got it good and inky. And then stamp it here around the flower image on my basic white panel. There we go. And then the final thing, since I've got my ink pad open, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment as well. And again, just on basic white cardstock. And I'm doing the Mother's Day sentiment with it. And going to stamp that also in Pebbled Path ink. And it's going to be a circle, so I want to make sure that I don't put it too close to any of the edges. I'm going to close the, oh, I just stuck my fingers in it, of course. So, hey, Carla, thanks for hopping in. And I appreciate that, Bonnie. Thanks for joining today as well. All right. So I did do one of these ahead of time just because I originally, on my actual card, there are two of the little branches. So one's up here and one's down here. So I did one ahead of time because it's the same process, and I didn't figure you needed to sit and watch me color all of the little pieces to this. So I've got soft sea foam Stampin' Blends markers, and I've got a light and a dark. And we're going to add just, I mean, these are like the easiest ever to color because really there's not a lot of technique that's involved in it. At least when I color them. I'm sure there are people that do color them with a lot of technique. I'm just not one of them. When there's so much shading on the stamped image already, there's really not a lot of reason to, in my opinion, to spend a lot of time shading with the blends markers because the stamped image really is going to take care of most of that for you. So I'm just scribbling over it with the light soft sea foam marker. And just going to color in all the leaves. And then I'm going to go over to my larger rose image and same thing. And soft sea foam, the light is actually, at least mine is really light. I do actually have a new one on order. I know this one's kind of slowly dying. So it's probably, yours may color a little bit darker than mine is. But if you think you want it a little bit darker than what I'm doing, I'm actually going to go over it again a little bit with the dark soft sea foam. So I will add a little more color once I get the initial light color put on the roses, or on the leaves. I was going to call them petals, and I knew that was not the right word. So there we go. And again, like I said, it's super easy to color this image. So if you are newer to blends and newer to coloring, get an image like this, particularly, really any floral image, but this one is particularly easy because there's so much shading on it already. This will give you a good starting point and an easy one to color. So, and it's a really beautiful stamp set too. And there's coordinating paper on the Celebration that you can get for free. So, all right. So we've got that mostly colored in here, and I'm just going to add a little, just going to come back in and do a little scribbling here and there. Again, not really very nicely. I just kind of add a little color here and there with the darker, and it's mostly in the areas that are already shaded with a little bit of the darker ink when it was stamped. So, and again, this really probably isn't even necessary, again, just because the stamped image is so dark, but I just thought it added a little bit more depth to it when I added a little more color. So if you don't like the look of the dark soft seafoam ink on it, you don't have to do it. So it's just fine doing it the other way. Oop, there we go. It looks like we get a little bit up here that I didn't color in very well. I see a few spaces that should be colored. All right. Hey, no worries, Barbara. Thanks for hopping in. Glad you're here. So, and Mary as well. All right, I have got light and dark lemon lolly that I'm going to be using, Stampin' Blends marker that I'm going to be using to color in all of these pretty little roses. And I don't know if you know this or not. You might, if you've watched my videos before. Any of the regular water-based inks, so any of the kind of the standard color ink pads from Stampin' Up, you can actually use them with your Stampin' Blends markers, because the Stampin' Blends markers are alcohol-based and the ink is water-based, so they don't mix together. So if you'd use Stays-On ink to stamp this, that's an alcohol-based ink, and then tried to color on it with Stampin' Blends markers, you would end up with kind of a muddied, not very pretty image, because the alcohol in the markers would reactivate the alcohol in the stamped image, and they'd kind of mix together, and you probably wouldn't be very happy with the results. So, but you can use the Stampin' Blends markers with the regular inks, which is kind of cool. And when I discovered that, I was pretty happy to know that, because not that I don't like Tuxedo Black Memento ink, but sometimes you want to stamp something in a color other than straight black. Like this one I liked. The gray is still dark, but it's lighter definitely than the Tuxedo Black is. So I like to be able to have that option when I want to play with colors a little bit more. All right, then we're going to do this flower here. And I went out of the lines a little bit, but that's all right. If you do happen to go out of the lines like I just did there, and you want to fix it, although I'm not going to, because a lot of this flower is going to be covered up anyway, so nobody's probably going to see it. But if you want to fix it, you can actually take the color lifter, which is essentially a clear marker, and color over the top of it and the area outside the lines, and it will kind of push the ink back down a little deeper into the paper, and you won't be able to see it. So that's how you can fix it if you have any little ink boo-boos when you're coloring. So, hey Karen, thanks for joining. And then I've got the dark lemon lolly. And again, I'm just going to kind of come around here a little bit. I'm not really even going to do very much with this one, because most of it's already colored with the other blends and with the shading that's already in the stamped image. So this one's a really easy one to color. And like I said, I do recommend, if you're just starting with the blends and just starting to do the coloring, grab floral images, or really any nature type image. They're much more forgiving than trying to color a person, because sometimes if you don't get the shading quite right on those, or color something an odd color, the skin doesn't quite end up the color of skin, then you may not be as happy with it. But florals and really anything in nature is pretty easy and pretty forgiving. So, all right, and that's going to be it for the coloring. So you often use the gray shade. Yep, and I actually am doing it more and more. I used to kind of always do Tuxedo Black, but I'm reaching for the gray inks, definitely. Even the like Smoky Slate and Gray Granite are nice to stamp with as well. So, all right, I'm going to grab my dies here. And these are the two dies that coordinate with this stamped image. And I see that I'm glad I saw that before I moved further ahead and got my card all put together and went, wait a minute, I totally missed a whole chunk of that leaf. Oops. All right. So, whoop, got to spin this around here and to get it on the right spot. So this one coordinates with this image and this die coordinates with that image. I'm going to go run these through my die cutting machine, so I'll be right back. So, hey Roxanne, thanks for joining. All right. Maybe I'll get these both done in one pass. All right, looks like that worked. So we've got our two die cut pieces here. And then while I'm at it and already doing the die cutting, I'm going to grab my sentiment and my third from the largest of the Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm going to go ahead and run this through the die cutting machine as well. All right. Get that mess out of the way. Bring my card base back in here. I am going to take some mini glue dots. Oh, thanks, Rosie. I appreciate that. And Cindy, you're going to love it. You should definitely order it. So, and then get the coordinating designer paper, the softly stippled designer series paper with it. Yeah, they work really nicely together. I think you'll really like it, at least in my opinion. The rose is beautiful, and I love that it has dies. I know we've had roses in the past, but this one's got dies, and yes. So, all right. So I'm going to take this little leaf, and we're just going to put it up here, kind of near the top and a little bit to the left. And then I'm going to do the other one, and we're going to put it sort of upside down here on this. So again, just putting glue dots on the back. Oh, yours has arrived today. Yay, Karen. You'll have fun playing with it. It's beautiful. And like I said, if you get the coordinating paper with it, then that makes it like even more fantastic. All right. So I'm going to take this one, and I haven't smashed these down yet just because I want to make sure that they're in the spot where I want them to be before I really adhere them well to the paper. So I realize that my stem is probably going to be sticking out from underneath my flowers, and I don't necessarily want that. So I think we're good to go with that because this one's going to be covered up by the sentiment, so I don't care so much where the stem lands on that one. All right. Then I'm going to grab a couple of these little die cuts. These are cut from soft seafoam cardstock, and I'll show you the die from the Stippled Roses dies. So this is the die that I use to cut them real quick and easy. Just run them through your die cutting machine with whatever color cardstock you want. And then I'm going to use little glue dots here. I'm just putting them way down here on the bottom of this. I wouldn't try liquid glue with my unsteady hands on this, trying to glue these down. You certainly can if you're better at using liquid glue than I am, but I just know that I would have it stuck all over me, all over my card. I would have myself glued to the card front, and then we'd all be probably laughing because, that's just kind of what happens. So, all right, and then I'm going to take my other little leaf, and we're just going to tuck that down here. All right, and then I've got my larger floral image. And I'm going to flip that over, and we'll put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. Hey, Daryl, thanks for hopping in. Oh, I'm glad you're liking the colors, Cindy. Actually, like I said, I love Lemon Lolly. It is one of my very favorite colors ever that Stampin' Up! Has had, and I probably use it to the point where you guys are like, do you have any other colors? Probably not. So I do have all the colors, but this one is just one that I happen to really love because I think it's a nice soft color, and I don't know, it just makes me happy. And I like yellow, and I know some of you out there don't, so there, I like it. So I'm going to use it. All right, I've got my little chopped up Stampin' Dimensionals. You know what, I better put one here in the center and just make sure that the center doesn't sag down on this. And oh, hey, no worries. Thanks for hopping in today, Carol. Glad you're here. So, all right, now I'm going to take this die cut, and we're just going to layer it over the top of my other little die cuts that are on here. The only thing I need to be careful of is just making sure that it doesn't go off the edge of the card front. And we'll just stick it down with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Then I'm going to grab my little, these are the two other soft seafoam die cuts that I've done, again with that same die. And this time I'm actually going to put the glue dot on the front of it in the same spot or on the same leaf. But I'm going to tuck it under the sentiment. So sentiment's going to go in here. Want to make sure that this is staying on the card front. So we'll probably go about there. Stick that one to the back of the sentiment. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one, just putting it on actually the front of the die cut. So yellow is one of your favorite colors. Yep, and pink. And, you know, I'm not really a very girly girl, but I do like yellow and pink. And my daughter would laugh because she's like, Mom, really? So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not one of those really girly girls, but I do like pink and I do like yellow a lot. So, all right. Oh, hey, thanks for joining from Indiana, Mary. Glad you're here. And Sherry, no problem. Glad you're joining as well. All right, now when I'm adhering this to the card front, I want to be a little careful where I place my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put one down low and then another one over to the right-hand side. And then the rest are going to be glue dots to hold this on to the card front. I didn't want to put dimensionals over here because there are dimensionals under this part and that would kind of give me a weird bump in the sentiment. So I'm just using glue dots on the other side. I'll probably put one or two of those over here. And it will definitely be enough to stick it to the card front, so no worries there. Doesn't require a whole ton of adhesive, so. All right, oh, thanks, Heather, I appreciate that. All right, so I've got a couple glue dots. One ended up there, one ended up there. And then I've got my little dimensionals here over on the other side. And we're just gonna layer it right over the top of the roses and try to show off some of the roses. Definitely, you know, they're a little bit covered up, but don't want to be too much covered up. So there we go. Stick that down. Then I have got some of the adhesive backed solid gems, and these are pecan pie, and I'm pretty sure that's balmy blue, and then we've got the yellow, which is lemon lolly. So got the Stippled Roses bundle but haven't used it yet. Oh man, you need to. You're gonna love it. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, and it, like I said, it's really easy to stamp with and really easy to color with. So I am loving it. All right, adding a couple of, so I've got one of the bigger, one and the smaller of the little gems on here. And then the third one is the middle-sized gem, and we're just gonna stick that over here along the side. And that's it for the card front. So super quick and easy. On the inside of the card, I probably normally would have just stamped this right here on the inside of the card and colored it right there. But, oh, you may be right, Robin. It might be boho blue in there. I'm not sure. It definitely could be. I should have probably looked it up. But I know it's lemon lolly and pecan pie, and then it's one of the other blues. So normally I would have just stamped this on here. But as I was creating this card, I actually had thought about putting a second layer of the flowers on it. So I got it all cut and colored and then went to put it together. And I'm like, that has too many flowers on the card front. And I didn't want to throw it away. So I just used it on the inside of the card. So the inside of this has got one half of the flower die cut on it, and this is the other half of the flower die cut. So like I said, you don't need to do a whole separate die cut. That was just how I did it because I didn't need the extra die cut and I didn't want to throw it away. So, all right, we're going to take a little Stampin' Seal and I'm going to put that here on the back of my die cut. And then just sticking it here in the corner. And I don't know, it doesn't really need to go on any particular way. And then we're going to flip it over. You can use your paper snips or you can use your Stampin' Trimmer, whatever's easiest for you, and just trim off the excess. Again, if you've stamped it here, and die cut it. If you didn't do the die cutting, you just stamped it, then you can skip this part because it's just going to be all colored right there on the panel. So, and again, I colored this just the same way that I did on the card front, just stamped it and colored it with the Lemon Lolly and Soft Seafoam Stampin' Blends markers. So, all right. And then we're going to take a little Stampin' Seal and stick this inside the card base. And we'll be all done for today. So like I said, it's a pretty quick and easy little card. And I think it's pretty. Like I said, I don't think you could stamp these roses and make them look not pretty. I think no matter what color you use with them, they'll be great. And you don't even have to color them. That's the other nice thing about them is you can stamp them in whatever color you want. And they're just fine plain too. They don't even require coloring. So, all right, there we go. So thanks everybody for joining today. Used a lot of that DSP for swaps. I can imagine because it's really pretty and it's really easy to use. So, and the colors in it are great. All right, so card I made ahead of time, card we made here today. if you love this bundle, make sure you're getting it picked up soon so that you can get your free celebration items with it. Like I said, it's a really good one in my opinion, and one you shouldn't pass up. I think you'll love it. So let me know if you have questions about anything. All the details will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And I will stop back tomorrow and put the direct link to the blog post once it goes live. So you'll be able to go over there and find the printable PDF tutorial, all the measurements, all that good stuff for the card. So that'll all be there tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock Eastern time. And again, in the meantime, don't forget celebration is ending very, very, very soon. So be sure you're getting your orders put in, or come join us. We'd love to have you do that too. All right. Thanks again, everybody. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. And then again next week, Tuesday around 2 o'clock Eastern time. So we will chat with you all later.